Thank you, Dennis, so much for the great content on Microsoft's modern workplace vision. Now it's time to do a deep dive into the new Microsoft Surface Pro device, what innovation it brings to the table. But before doing that, I would like to talk a little bit about our devices journey. First of all, why Microsoft is manufacturing its own devices. That's a key question that we receive from the customers. The fundamental reason why we have this wide portfolio of Surface family of devices is we want to show the best of Microsoft to our customers. So all of the Surface devices that we are now in the market are defining their own categories. Today we are launching the new Surface Pro, and 4 years back from today, when you look at the day we announced the Surface devices, the first version, it was the first of its kind on the 2-in-1 category. And the 2-in-1 devices over these 4 years have filled all of the portfolio with very rich content of devices from our OEM partners as well. So Surface leading the journey on these new categories is going to continue to define most innovative devices on the planet. We not only have this new Surface Pro in our category, we have the Surface Book, Surface Laptop, Surface Studio, and Surface Hub. In our Middle East countries, we have the availability of the new Surface Pro and Surface Hub at the moment, but in the near future, you will see us doing some exciting announcements about the new portfolio as well. Now, coming to the thinking behind the new Surface Pro, over the 5 generations we have passed through, we always had the thinking that there must be nothing between the creative ideas of our customers and what they want to bring to life. So the devices and the hardware and the software in front of them should empower them to unlock their creativity, create content freely, and the device should be the enabler of this creativity. The innovation that Surface brings to the table can be explained in 3 different ways. Number 1 is we want to modernize the customer's business. We hear a lot of feedback from the customers over the 4 and 5 generations of Surface that they want the devices to help them modernize their business and modernize their workplace. The second feedback that we hear from them is about empowering the customer's employees. So many of the customers from large enterprises to all the SMB organizations tell us that they want to enable their customers with, they want to enable their employees with mobility, and they want to empower their employees again with secure devices that enable remote access to the enterprise content that they have. The third pillar, which is very challenging for many of the new organizations today, is attracting talent. When we look at the statistics, we see that by the year 2025, more than 25% of the employees are going to be millennials. And if you want to attract millennials into your organization, you have to give them the best-in-class devices, best-in-class software, and the most collaborative environment so that you can keep the talent in your company while you attract new ones. And that's possible with the most innovative devices that you have out in the market. With that, actually, we gave us a very hard task about the new Surface Pro, because the previous generation, which was Surface Pro 4, has set the bar very high for us. On the previous generation, let's take a look at some of the customer feedback. The customers told us that it's the best device for their total mobility vision. Some other customers said that they will never go back to any other device other than Surface. Other customers said they couldn't rate the device higher than what they are rating right now. So we have set ourselves a very high bar, which is very hard to exceed actually. So that was our biggest challenge with the new Surface Pro. We had to generate the next generation device that is ultra mobile and provides connectivity everywhere. We had to provide a device that has even longer battery life compared to the previous one, the Surface Pro 4, which already had 9 hours of battery. The customers told us that the new device must be even thinner and even lighter than the previous one, which was already less than 800 grams and less than 9 millimeters thin. So it was already ultra thin, it was already ultra light, but the customers also said that we must provide them the best-in-class chipsets and the computing power as well. So it was a very hard task for us to overachieve. But the new Surface Pro, we have overachieved all these customer feedback and made them a part of the new device, which I'll be demoing you soon. If you look at the new Surface Pro now, it's the best-in-class Microsoft device, the most versatile laptop that we have ever built. Secondly, it has exceptional power and performance that we have embedded into the device with even more innovation, which I'll be talking about in a minute. It has uncompromising mobility. Now, the new Surface Pro comes with connectivity options that will innovate the way we work with the device, and I'll be talking about that as well. And finally, one key feedback the customers gave us was, in order to attract talent when they give this device to their employees, they want to have the personalization option on the device. With that, let's do a deep dive into all of these pillars. Now, if we start with exceptional power and performance, you will see that the new Surface Pro has the 7th generation Intel Core processor, which is the latest generation that we have out in the market today. It's literally a powerhouse. The device that's in front of me, for example, is an i7 processor, so it's the highest processor series that Intel provides right now in the market. It provides a RAM capacity up to 16 gigabytes and a storage capacity up to 1 terabyte. Again, this device in front of me is a 1 terabyte option. So it's literally a powerhouse machine where you can run all of your demanding applications like design applications, CAD/CAM applications, engineering tools, all of them will run very smoothly on this device. And if you compare it with the previous generation, it's 20% more powerful than the previous generation of Surface Pro 4. The next thing that I want to mention, and it's very important to highlight this, the battery life of the previous generation was 9 hours. Now, although this one is thinner and lighter, we made it possible to extend the battery life 50% better, up to 13.5 hours duration, which is even longer than a working day. So that's one of the key achievements that we have delivered based on the customer feedback. One of the key things that made us enable this is the new chipset that we're using. The Intel Core processor that we're using on this device, including Core M and Core i5, is now fanless. So the device does not have any fan, and it's completely silent while it's working, which enables us to reduce the power consumption and increase the battery life by 50% compared to the previous one. The third point I want to talk about is uncompromising mobility. With this one, I want to give some detailed information regarding the product. Now, the form factor that we have built with the Surface product family, with Surface Pro 3, Pro 4, and the new Surface Pro, is getting a lot of positive feedback from our customers. So we wanted to keep the form factor the same, while we have softened the edges and the corners of the device a little bit. It's now thinner and lighter compared to the previous one, but fundamentally we have continued to use the existing ultra versatile design that we already have in the previous generations. One of the key things that we have changed is the hinge on the device. You know, when you look at the new Surface Pro device, we have more than 100 custom electronic components inside that are built and being used only in the Surface device. No other device out in the world uses these custom-made components. But it's not only about electronic engineering components. We also have done a fantastic job in mechanical engineering as well. If you look at the new hinge of the new Surface Pro, it can help you open with a friction hinge. The previous generation was up to 135 degrees. The new generation allows you to go all the way down to 160 degrees. And what you can do with this is you can put it over here. This is what we call the studio mode. Take your pen, put your hand with the palm rejection. You can easily put your hand, do your inking, and take your notes, do your design, play with your engineering content on the device with the new studio mode that we enabled on the new Surface Pro. The next thing I want to mention is about the type cover. One of the key things, as I mentioned, is about personalization of the device. So customers said that, hey, it's fantastic that I have the Surface Pro, but I want to have it personalized according to my my request. So we have put 4 different color options on the keyboard on top of the existing black one, and the 4 color options have the fantastic Alcantara Italian fabric that's so soft and light to use while you type. It's also such an elegant design that it's personally reflecting your need on the device in terms of what color you want to use. We have 4 options, all the way from burgundy to cobalt blue. So you can pick whichever option you want, and you will have the fantastic Alcantara fabric on your keyboard with the new Surface Pro. One thing again I want to mention is we have already mentioned about the ultra thin and light form factor, but I want to show it to you over here. Now the new device is even lighter and thinner. It is slightly above 750 grams and it is thinner than 8.3 millimeters. With this battery life of 13.5 hours, it is the thinnest and lightest powerhouse device on the planet. There is no other device that has Intel i7 processor at this thinness and at this battery life on the planet. And the great thing is, it's made out of very durable material. Magnesium is one of the most flammable elements on the planet. We made a magnesium alloy with the new Surface Pro that's more scratch resistant, that's very durable compared to the previous one, and still we managed to make the device lighter compared to the previous version. Now coming to the best of Microsoft, we wanted to make sure we innovate on the display itself as well. Now the new Surface Pro comes like the previous generation on a 12.3 inches screen, but now the display supports even deeper resolution, even higher DPI, and it supports 10-point touch with finger, and also supports pen and inking on the device. So the ultra bright display supports many key scenarios, which we will cover in the next parallel track, where we talk about the vertical scenarios. One next thing I want to mention is the innovative devices and peripheral that Microsoft brings to the market. We have a new peripheral that we announced last year with the new Microsoft Studio, which is called the Surface Dial. Surface Dial is a new way to interact with PCs, where you can put the dial on the screen of your device, and it enables radial menus, which is context aware. If it's an engineering application, it can pop up engineering menu. If it's OneNote, it opens OneNote menus. Now with the new Surface Pro, we support Surface Dial as well. So if you're creating content on this device, you can now use Surface Dial on the screen of the device as well. So that's a key innovation we also brought on the new device display that comes with the new Surface Pro. One key use scenario we observe with our customers is using the Surface for collaboration purposes in the office and outside of the office when they're mobile. Now, it's very important to have the high-end cameras with Surface Pro, because we want to make sure your employees use Sky for Business and other collaboration tools together with the camera at full performance. Now, the front camera over here is designed in a way where it supports 5 megapixel recording, and it also supports the security features of Windows Hello. So it helps you do the facial recognition with Windows 10 and signs you in to the device. Whereas the back-end camera over here is 8 megapixels, but the great thing about this camera is it is autofocal supporting. So if you want to in your industry use case scenario, if you need to take snapshot of a paper, for example, or take a photo of the content, it will support autofocal focus on the content and capture the image with top quality and store it into your organizational document repository in the best quality. Let's talk about a bit on the security features. As Dennis mentioned in the previous session, we are very much focused and we are very much innovative on the security that we bring with the hardware and the software that we market out in the world. Now, with the new Surface Pro, as I mentioned, we New camera supports Windows Hello with biometric sign-on, but that's not the only innovation that it brings. It also comes with the TPM chipset, where we can securely store your data inside the device in an encrypted mode, where the data cannot be stolen outside of the device with the technology that we put on the Surface devices. You can easily also manage the Surface devices using your existing infrastructure, because it runs the Windows that you already use in your organization. It runs Windows 10 Pro. You can upgrade it to Windows 10 Enterprise if you have software assurance rights. And eventually, it will be the most secure Windows that you're ever using, where the security is enabled on the hardware level and at the software level concurrently. We mentioned about making it on your own. It's not only about the type cover or the keyboard that you can personalize with the color. We're also going to introduce different colors of mice and different colors of pen that you can pair with your type cover so that you have really personalized your device end-to-end while you're living the new Surface Pro experience. Now let's do a quick summary. Starting from the form factor itself, the device is ultra light and ultra thin. As I mentioned, it's slightly above 750 grams. It's thinner than 8.3 millimeters. It's the thinnest and lightest Surface Pro we have ever made. If you look at the battery life, it's now 13.5 hours on this ultra thin and light device. And it's the best in class in the world, thinking that it now has the latest generation, Intel 7th generation processors, which makes this device a powerhouse. So the performance is 20% higher compared to the previous generation. Battery life is 50% more, and it supports security features like Windows Hello, biometric sign-on. It has the TPM chipset, which gives you the ultimate security on the data that you have in the device, and it has the most wide range of personalization options like color keyboards, color pens, and color mice, which will allow you to attract talent and keep the talent in your organization, because you will empower your employees with the device customization of their choice with the new Surface Pro. With that in hand, I want to thank you for listening to me. Now, you will see that on our virtual launch platform, you will see the Contact Me form. As we transition into the vertical sessions, please pick your vertical and attend that session. If you want, even before attending the session, you can click on the Contact Me form on the platform. And if you fill your organization details, we will be very happy to reach out to you, listen to your needs on Surface devices, and come back to you with a solution that you need. Thanks a lot, and I'm inviting you to the parallel tracks right now.